So you're considering insulating your house or replacing your HVAC system. Let me give you 3 things to consider before you do anything. Let's talk about it. Now, my first big cautionary tale is I don't want you to waste money, and that's the first and most important thing to think about. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can go wrong on this journey of reinsulating or replacing your HVAC system where you waste a ton of money. We've seen many homeowners do it. I don't want you to be another one. One thing to think about is you might have heard that you need a huge HVAC unit or you need the most efficient system possible. You need a 90+% system because that's what the person on Facebook said, or you read an article that once said that. And don't get me wrong, those units are great and it's wonderful how efficient these new appliances are. The fact is, your home might not need that. And if you do buy that really new, nice, expensive, efficient system, you might have left a lot of money on the table. Now, the next thing I want you to think about is you might not have to replace your HVAC system at all. Your current unit, and it could be 40, 50 years old, might be just what your home needs. Maybe it needs a tune-up. Maybe some of the ducts need sealing. But there's a very, very good chance that whatever unit's in your house already, as long as it's functioning properly, that's probably adequate for your home. The third concept I want you to think about is you don't know what you don't know. And that's why you stumbled upon this video, because you're on this journey and you're gathering information. So first of all, good on you. If you're on this and you're thinking about, you gotta insulate because everyone knows you need to insulate a house, and man, everyone knows, your equipment matters as well. So you're thinking you gotta do both. One thing to think about is if you properly insulate your house, or if you properly air seal your house, and especially if you do both, that will dramatically impact your home's need for an HVAC system. Now, I'm not saying that it won't need a system at all, but the size, the efficiency will make a big difference. For example, if your house is completely insulated properly with a good building envelope and it's air sealed properly, that house can run on a much smaller, a much less efficient furnace than you would think it really can. And there's a lot of ways that you can find this out. One simple thing is there's a test called a manual J. This is what's done on like new build houses and even commercial buildings to size what unit a building needs. And when I say unit, I mean, furnace and HVAC system. There are many different things that you can test the house, manual J being the easiest, to really find out what proper size unit or efficiency does my home actually need. Now, the key thing here, and this is really important, you want to make sure any test like that is done after you've insulated and air sealed, because again, that's going to be the key. You don't want to waste money in buying a bigger unit than you need, so you want to make sure you do that research and do any testing after you've insulated and air sealed the house. So this is why I always recommend to insulate first, because you won't know what your house actually needs as far as appliances until it's insulated and until you've done something like a manual J or had an HVAC contractor out to give you advice on what it needs now that it's properly insulated and air sealed. So at this point, you're probably ready to finally take back the comfort and control in your house and get that home insulated. Go to our link below to our Find a Dealer page where you can find your local RetroFoam dealer and start that process and start being happy in your home again. This is the Professor Foam reminding you that building is a science.